Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I am going to read step by step writing Unit 9, Tell a Story. Unit objective, personal narrative, beginning, middle and end of a story. Time transition words, travel and transportation words, synonyms and antonyms for adjective. Grammar, simple tense of past tense of irregular verbs. WH questions with the past tense. Reading section A, discuss. Plan a trip with a partner. Answer the question. Section B, read. Read about the Garcia family's trip to New York City. Our New York adventure. Francisco Garcia. My family took a trip to New York City last summer. We visited my mother's friends, Mr. and Mrs. Vega. We were very excited before we left. It was our first trip to New York. We flew to New York on Sunday morning. The weather was clear and sunny. The airplane was very comfortable. We arrived at about 3 p.m. Mr. and Mrs. Vega met us at the airport. We stayed with Mr. and Mrs. Vega for 1 week. We didn't have much free time during our visit to New York. We were busy. On Monday, we took the train to Long Beach. We swam and ate watermelon. The next day, we took a ferry and saw the Statue of Liberty. The view was amazing. We had an exciting time. However, one day was especially exciting for Maria. On Friday, we were sightseeing. First, we took a subway into the city. Later on, we took a bus to Central Park. The bus was very crowded. We got off the bus at the park. However, something was strange. Maria wasn't with us. We looked around and finally we saw her. Maria was on the bus. We didn't get off. There were too many people. My father ran after the bus. At last, the driver stopped and Maria got off. In the end, Maria was safe. She was very careful on buses and trains after that. We came back to Los Angeles the next day. Mr. and Mrs. Vega drove us to the airport in their car. We got home late Saturday evening. We were exhausted, but we were happy. We had a wonderful time in New York. However, Maria is never going to forget her scary bus trip. Page 108, vocabulary A. Unscramble the letters to make types of transportation. Find the word in the reading on page 106. Section B. Find the words from the box in the reading on page 106. Complete the chart with the synonyms and antonym. 동의어와 반의어죠. To write the complete sentence. Synonyms, 동의어, are words that have the same or close to the same meaning. Antonyms are words that have the opposite meanings. Good writers use different words to make the writing interesting. Very good is pretty much great. Big is not small. Section C, reread the passage on page 106, then match these words to make treble phrases. Grammar. Section A, write the past tense form to each irregular verb. Then find each verb in the reading on page 106. Write the complete sentence. Affirmative. They took a trip to New York. They didn't take a trip to San Francisco. Fly. We flew to New York. They didn't fly to Portland. Meet. They met us at the airport. They didn't meet us at the bus station. Page 110. Section B. Complete the questions with the correct form of the verbs in parentheses. Answer the question. Use information from the reading on page 106. Present tense, past tense. Where does the Garcia family take the summer trip every year? Where did the Garcia family take the summer trip last year? Why do they go there? Why did they go there? How do they get there? How did they get there? How do they visit there? Who did they visit there? What did they see there? What did they see there? When do they come home? When did they come home? Section C, complete the paragraph. Use the past tense of the verbs in parentheses. There are regular and irregular verbs. Page 111, organization, beginning, middle, and end of a story. Find the beginning, the middle, and the end of the passage on page 106. Write 2 sentences from each part of the story in the chart below. Stories, remember box. Stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning introduces the story and tells about the setting and characters. The middle gives the details about the action or plot of the story. The end tells what the story means or why it is important. Writing strategy, time transition words. Transition words help to connect ideas. Time transition words tell the reader the order of events in a story. Look at how time transition words can change the meaning of a sentence. Z studied after he ate lunch. Z studied before he ate lunch. Add the correct time transition word or phrase to each sentence. Use information from the reading on page 106. Page 112. Personal narrative. Narrative means 이야기, 사적인 이야기, 개인적인 이야기죠. A personal narrative tells a story from the author's point of view. Point of view, 관점, it uses the first person 1인칭. It also has a beginning, a middle, and an end. 서론, 본론, 결론. In a narrative paragraph, the topic sentence, 주제문, introduces the story. The supporting sentences, 뒷받침 문장들, tell about the setting, characters, and action. 배경 장소, 등장인물, 그리고 어떤 행동. The concluding sentence, 결론 문장, 맺은 문장 또는 맺은 문장이라고도 하죠. Ends the story and tells what it means. Travel stories and journal entries are examples of personal narratives. Section A. Read the stories about trips. My family took a trip to San Francisco last July. My mother, my sister, Bethany, and I visited my aunt and uncle. We took a train from Portland, Oregon to Oakland, California. Oakland is a city near San Francisco. We left on Wednesday morning. We were on the train all day. It was amazing. We saw a lot of beautiful mountains and trees during the trip. However, we arrived very late that night. We were exhausted. We got off the train, but something was strange. My uncle was not at the station. My mother was really worried. Finally, my mother's cell phone rang. It was my uncle. He was at the Emeryville station. We were at the Oakland station. He was at the wrong station. He drove quickly to the Oakland station. We are really happy to see him in the end. Our trip was fantastic. We're going to go again next year. I hope my uncle goes to the correct station next time. I had an interesting trip last July. My father, my mother, brother, and I went to a new zoo downtown. My father drove us to the zoo. It was very close to our home. We walked around the zoo after we arrived. We saw many animals. Some animals were beautiful. Some animals were funny. I really liked the snakes. I thought they were fascinating. My brother didn't like them. He thought they were scary. Later on, we watched an animal show. During the show, the zookeeper gave me a snake. I held it for 5 minutes. It was really heavy, but it was beautiful. Later on, my brother held the snake too. Now, he doesn't think they are scary. They are his new favorite animal in the end. We all had a good time at the zoo. Writing prompt. Purpose, tell a story. Tell a story about a trip you took. Write a personal narrative paragraph for the class website. Describe the setting and the characters. Describe the action. Use transition words to connect ideas. Be sure your story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Step 1. Pre-write. Look at Marty's story planner. Copy the chart or make one on a computer. Think about the information you need. Write notes for your paragraph. Step 2. Organize. Look at Marty's story organizer. Organize your ideas. Copy the story organizer or make one on a computer. Complete the story organizer with information about your story. Step 4. Edit. Section A, B, C. Practice, edit, peer edit. Step 5. Publish. The end.